Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. sorry. So, welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, how are you guys doing? Today feels really weird. It just does. It feels really weird. I'm not sure why. But, let's see. I'm going to be doing a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for those of us who find ourselves on this channel without any Piscean anything. You're probably an empath and you're probably needing messages from your soul. So I just became cognitively aware. I'm speaking from a different place or positioning of my throat. Can you guys notice a difference? Can you notice a difference? I suddenly want to cover my head. Can you notice a difference in my voice? I don't know what it is. I don't know. I feel very unsure today. And first and foremost, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you're not feeling super confident. I don't feel confident most days. I don't know what y'all be thinking, that I'm super confident, but I'm not. I'm just ballsy is what it is. I'm ballsy. But today feels very like it's a beautiful day. It doesn't feel like something is necessarily wrong. Nothing's happened. But it feels very lack of confidence, almost very unsure. Did I make the wrong decision? Did I do the wrong thing? Should I have done something else? And I mean, no, I don't know. What are you deciding on? What is this questioning based off of, So let's pull some cards. Pull some cards from there. Well, let's pull some cards from here. Oh, I got a new deck as well. We are on the verge of all three planets going direct, third and fourth. Teresa, hold me back. Hold me back. I'm about to fight some planets. I'm going to do some stretches. And then I'm going to fight some planets. And a new moon. These rowdy planetas. Okay, I'm pulling cards. Don't worry. If you're listening to me off the podcast, hello, good day. If you're watching me here, thank you for showing up. All right, and I'm not looking at the cards in advance, so I think I probably would have had a worse feeling today if I didn't do the recalibration. So maybe maybe there's just some floofery afoot. Maybe there's floofery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there you go. We're ready. We are ready. Here we go. Respect, pentacle, respect. This card is telling me that whatever's being considered, it involves elevations in someone's sense of respect for you. Okay? Maybe it's maybe it's you respecting yourself, you know what I mean? Maybe it's you finally choosing you and your needs and looking for what is the most peaceful decision for you, like what's going to bring you the greatest amount of joy. And then we have, so now since this winter card came up, this card kept coming up in reverse for like the longest time, right? And now it's coming up upright. And it's almost like this sense of whatever went upside down during winter time, during the fall, you're putting in the effort to correct it, to make it right side up. Is this like, did you allow yourself to get gaslit? Y'all, if you could, I just saw my face right now. Did you allow yourself to get gaslit to return back to a situation where you were being very much controlled? Is that what that weird feeling is? Hmm. I don't know. Let's see how this plays out. So, spring is in a good spot, winter and then spring. Okay. Okay. What feeling do I get from that? See, the power card is in reverse. So it's like winter looked like it was cold and like, really frigid, really emotionless. But see, look, spring looks like all daffodils and whatnot. And then the power card comes in reverse, and it's kind of like, what did you do? Did you go back to the same old situation again? I mean, it's almost this sense of like you were so close, and then it reverted back. Hmm. Unless I'm reading too much into that. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not that. Let's move forward. Intensification. Oh my gosh, this is another cycle. This is another cycle. You have to set your intention. Okay. Set your intention. Allow yourself to really just be fully present in the things that you decide. Now, it's not for anyone to be like, you need to leave, you need to stay, you need to this, you need to that. No, you have to make decisions for yourself. But it gets frustrating when you've made so much progress only to revert back to redeliver yourself to the very situation that caused so much pain to begin with. You know what I mean? Um, we shall see. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Self-sabotage. Card number 48, self-sabotage. There's some, I don't, maybe you're still just considering it. Maybe you're in a place within yourself where you are seriously considering returning back to a situation that has not been happy for you because all of these promises have been made. You think they've learned their lesson. What lesson is there to learn? Really, though, what lesson is there to learn? See, you have to be very realistic about people. Okay. You have to be very, very, very realistic about people. When they are comfortable with you, they treat you in the way that they believe you deserve. When they're trying to prove something to you, like, please come back, of course they're going to be extra nice. Of course they're going to say and do anything and everything that they think is necessary to get you to agree. Are they telling the truth? Probably not. Now, people might be like, "Oh my gosh, you are so Debbie Downer, pessimistic Penny." Yeah, no, it's called realism. I'm not joking. It's called being realistic and believing people for who they show you to be versus who you want them to be. Y'all, y'all, this makes me so sad. I don't even know what I'm sad about. Just suddenly this like hollow feeling in my chest. Oh, what was this reading about? Hold on. Um, oh, that empty feeling. Oh, damn. It's about feeling empty. Oh my gosh. What are y'all going through? What is this? Do I need to adopt you guys, all of you, and mama bear you into wholeness? No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Card number 49, self acceptance. See, that's the thing. You go through a cycle of self sabotage. The next step that you will reach is self acceptance. You need to be able to accept yourself as you are. You have to be able to recognize when you are seeking other people to validate you and these people are incapable of validating you. You know, it's like, do you go back to this because, well, at least you know that they what? Make you feel bad about yourself? Criticize you nonstop? Make you feel like being who you are and liking what you like? I don't know. I don't know. It's just a really bad feeling that I get. It's a really bad feeling that I get. You need some type of change. Card number 5, change. You have to change what you allow. If you want different things, you can't keep doing the same thing. Okay? You can't keep doing the same thing. You have to make sure that whatever it is you do, whether you're afraid or not, that you are choosing something that will lead to a different result than the thing that hurt you to begin with. Be careful with that, Matthew. Be careful with pain that feels like it's reminiscent of a very serious health condition that you've just lived through and saying it's energies. Be very careful of that. Unless you've gotten like the EKGs and whatnot that are necessary to rule out an actual cardiac event, don't be so quick to call it energy if you've already had a cardiac event, okay? All right. So these last 3 cards, Galactic Heritage, Arcturian Activation, and Rebirth of Magic. This is telling me that all of these things that are going on, yes, they probably are connected to planetary alignments and stuff, right? They probably are connected to that. You're probably sensitive to all of the different planetary positionings, all of the celestial events, solar flares, all of those things do affect us to some degree. But we need to choose to heal through this period. We can't keep doing this thing of like, we'll do it when it's convenient, you know? You'll do it when it's convenient, when it's the right time, when is it ever the right time? Like I've heard people for many years like, "Oh, I'm not going to have a child right now because it's not the right time." It's never the right time. Children come when it's time for you to change. That's when I've had all of my children. When it was time for me to change and become a different woman. Not necessarily because the woman that I was at that moment was a bad woman. No, it had more to do with I was ready for change, but I wasn't recognizing it. And it was a change that needed to be so profound that it took me bringing another life into this life. You know what I mean? Now I'm not saying that you have to have kids. I'm just using that as an analogy. You could be rebirthing yourself. You could be rebirthing yourself. Um, Rebirth of magic. There's a part of you that's needing to be laid to rest. What part is that? I don't know. You have to set your intention though. Okay? You have to make sure that whatever your intention is has nothing to do with anyone else, has only strictly to do with you. Now, if your soul so chooses for another person to be involved in this process, in this period, by all means, don't interfere with that. Don't deny yourself the presence and the whatnot that clearly you need, right? It's almost even not hard to breathe, but like this thing of like I recognize it when I get stressed out to a specific degree, and it has to be like really high levels of stress, right? Um, Not only do I begin breathing shallow, what is going on with my hood? Not only do I begin breathing shallow, um, I also it's almost like I'm trying like I don't want anyone to know I'm breathing almost. I don't know where that comes from. It's almost like I find myself holding my breath. There's this thing that I do when I, lead meditations, and it's this thing of, like, inhaling the light of your truth, exhaling the darkness of your doubt. You know, it's almost this physiological manifestation of my refusal to inhale, to take in the truth and allow the truth to circulate through. And then that refusal to exhale, to only exhale to a certain degree so that there are still remnants of my darkness and doubt. And it's not that darkness is evil. Um, it's that it's so easy to hide the most beautiful, most powerful parts of you in that darkness. Hmm. Not sure what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on. So I see that some people have breathing stuff too, and Tiffany says it's anxiety. Um, you know, what's anxiety and what's depression? What's the difference between the two? Because they're different things, right? They're both psychological in nature, emotional in nature. They create a lot of struggle, but what's the difference between the two? Depression is this emotional mental reaction, mental state in response to unchangeable things from the past. That's depression. Anxiety comes from this fear of um, an unguaranteed future. You can't control either one. You cannot control either one. So why do we try? Listen, you cannot change the past. What has happened has already happened. And you cannot guarantee the future. You just cannot. So why waste time on it? Why do you think, despite having such precognitive abilities, I don't bother? I just don't bother because nothing is set. It's just not set. Case in point, I knew for a while that my mother was not going to live long after I came back. I knew that for a while. I had been told repeatedly the schedule was for September, that that was her exit plan. I was not told by her, I was told by her higher self, her soul. I was told this, and I was like, "All right, I'm going to respect that." And I was working myself up to really just spend as much time with her, to make it the most meaningful however many months until we reach September, and then beginning of June, ugh, I get a call from my brother who never calls me, especially that early in the morning. And he tells me something's happened. And I'm like, no, 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 no. She's going to be fine. We have until September. There are so many other factors that are involved. So many other factors involved. For one, when other souls are involved, their sovereign free will is factored in. That means you're not the only one that gets a say at that point. Sometime at the end part of May, she changed her mind. She didn't want to wait until September. She didn't even want to wait the 18 hours it would take me to drive to get to her. And I have to be okay with that. I have to believe and trust and accept that whatever happened, the way it happened, was the utmost level of compassion for all people involved, including myself. I did not fail her. I was not supposed to be there. It would have been too hard for her to go. So, do I need to still be depressed? No. It doesn't take away from the grief and the sadness, but do I need to be depressed to feel to the degree that I shut down? No. No, I don't. It doesn't make me a bad person. I still grieve. But that refusal to release things I can no longer change, that's not there. Instead of like, I should have been there, I should have been there. Because the reality of that is, I had bought a plane ticket to fly in for that morning the week before. I bought the plane ticket. Had I kept that plane ticket, I would have landed right when she had her cardiac event. I would have been in the state already, and I would have interfered. I would have guilted her. I would have made her feel so badly. Everything happened the way it was meant to happen, the way her soul decided. That's how it was meant to play out. And this entire time, nearly 2 years now, instead of the why, how come, that's not fair, it's been, okay, what would I have done if I was really there? Would I have violated her sovereignty? Would I have, like, tried to coerce her into choosing differently? What would I have done? What could I have done? And here's the thing, you guys. When I say your sovereign free will is the utmost authority in your life, my mother's heart was strong. Although she had AFib, she had 0 cardiac issues. Her AFib was controlled. This was not a result of AFib. She suddenly had a cardiac event, and then she went into cardiogenic shock. You know what that means? For no reason at all, her heart decreased in function by half every hour, to the point where her body became so acidic and she was gasping for air. And then they needed to do dialysis, but to do dialysis would bottom out her blood pressure and hasten her demise. There was nothing anyone was going to do. There was no reason, no medical explanation for any of it. None. Nothing outside of She just felt like it was time to go. She just felt like it was time. There's things that happen in your life that you cannot change. You have to give yourself the time to process how you feel. And you're not going to process how you feel so long as you consider um, this reaction of, but why? But why? I mean, it's a normal, natural reaction, but is it healthy? Is it compassionate for you? Or does it trap you into this cycle of forever blaming yourself, forever looking at how you weren't enough, you weren't there in time, you didn't decide better, you didn't this, you didn't that. I mean, I could have totally destroyed myself with that. I had the fucking plane ticket booked a week before. Literally, I would have landed at 8 a.m. I would have landed at 8 a.m. She had her cardiac event at 8 a.m. I'm not even bitter about it. Because really, like, the more time passes, I'm like, thank God things played out the way they did. Part of the reason why I canceled that ticket was because I was on the phone with her. I had just come back from seeing her. Just, "No, save your money. Come later time. Come later. That's too soon." She's like, "Okay, you're right. I'll cancel it." Everything works out the way it's meant to. It really truly does. That hollow feeling is going to continue to exist as long as you crave the part that was once there, that creation itself removed. Maybe it was necrotized. Maybe it was a source of infection. Maybe this, maybe that. The bottom line is this: regardless of why it was removed, what you need to work on is accepting that it's gone, that it's out, that it was removed. By some divine plan, it was removed. And there's really no need to rush to figure out why it was, because what does the why do for you? What, make you hurt less? And nothing's going to make it hurt less. It's not going to make it hurt less. Me being able to be like, well, so souls decide. No, it doesn't make it hurt less at all. The goal here is not to make it hurt less. It's to make sure you don't unnecessarily hurt more, to create more struggle, to cause you to grip more tightly to something that really your life, your soul is trying ever so gently to take away. I just realized it's been 3 years. We're working on 3 years. It's going to be 3 years soon. I don't even think time is relevant. Keeping track of how much time has passed. Mm-mm. I think it just makes you feel worse. I think it makes you feel worse because then it's like, gosh, damn, 3 years. It still hurts. coming to terms with things doesn't make it hurt less. It just helps you to better understand why it hurts so much. And it's okay. I'm never gonna find a time in my life where that absence has less meaning. You might not cry as often, but it's still forever gonna feel the way it feels. It just is. So trying to wrap your mind around things that maybe it's not about trying to wrap your mind around it. Maybe it's about trying to find the courage to just keep moving. Not aimlessly either, but choosing to take action and make moves in your life that carry purpose, that carry some sort of divine gravity. I wonder if that empty feeling exists so you're aware of where you need to refill yourself. I wonder if that's the purpose of the emptiness, you know? So you know exactly where you need to refill, not to replace, but just replenish, to top you up with a sense of feeling whole, knowing there's a component so important to you that you're gonna have to wait until after this lifetime to reunify with, right? And it's really this thing of like, I know it's hard to wrap the mind around the concept because I truly do feel like there's no shadow of a doubt. She did choose to reincarnate really, really fast, my mother. She did. And that's what made it easier for me to not completely shut down because I felt her physically. But the fact still remains that's no longer my mother. That's now my niece. And that relationship, that connection has to also transition into a new way of being. Like, I know people thought I was crazy because I was getting like designer label type stuff for literally a newborn. 'Cause that's what my mom wanted. I never got it for her. Yeah. I got her Gucci. Yeah. I got her other stuff. But she's becoming a different person now. She still feels the same, but now she feels like a little girl. So for Christmas, no, I didn't get her Louis Vuitton. I wanted to, but I was like, she's a little girl now. It's no longer like her. It's still her, but it's not her. And so I got her toys. I got her toys. And you know what changed my mind? Last autumn, um, October time, my son was at his uncle's house on Halloween, which is my nephew's birthday. And I asked him to go get my nephew a birthday gift. And I was like, "Get something for all of them, okay? Because, like, we don't get to see them often, so if you could get something for all of them." And he's like, "Okay." So he got all of the kids something, and he had me on FaceTime when he gave my niece her toy. And I swear to God, she looked at me like my mom looks at me. She's like, and I could feel it. She's like, "This is yes, I like this." It was a baby toy. I like this. She sat down, she pats the floor like, "Come on, put it in front of me." That's the same type of crap my mama would do. And that's like, "Oh, it's her, but it's not her anymore. It's her, but it's not her." So I have to accept I'm not going to recreate that. Whatever I had with my mom, we're not recreating that. It's an opportunity for something new. All the things that happen in your life present you with the opportunity to continue to create and recreate the same situations over and over and over. Or do something new, create something new so you can have new laughter. Excuse me. And y'all don't get it twisted. At some point, she's going to be a teen, even a preteen. That's old enough for spa date with auntie. Okay. With Ninang. Okay. We have her teens, her 20s, and her 30s for the Louis. I mean, I wouldn't get Louis for myself, but if girlfriend wants a Louis, auntie gonna have to get you a Louis. Okay, let me stop. Let me not make those type of plans. If my husband hears this, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, it's okay. It's gonna be okay." Yeah, no, when she was a newborn, literally, it was like my mom was playing cosplay as a baby or something. It was really weird, like really, really weird. And one of my mom's favorite people is my husband. I gotta share this. I have an amazing husband. So when we first came back to California, my mom was in hospice and she was in a nursing home, right? And she had stopped eating already. They were trying so hard all day to get her to take in like a teaspoon of rice, and she just wasted away. And so when we came back, she got her appetite back, and I was like, "What food do you want? I'll get it for you." So we got her some Filipino food, and then she had no problem feeding herself. But I went to go use the bathroom, and I come back, and what I see is my husband is spoon feeding her. I'm like, "What are you doing? She can feed herself." And my mom goes, "Ah, shut up." Shut up. I was like, "Mom, you can feed yourself. Let her feed herself." Because I'm all about like, let her be independent. Have to mind your business. And he's like, "Leave us alone. I'm feeding her. I want to feed her." I was like, "You two be too much." Yeah, he was spoon feeding her. I was just like, I love this man so much. Yeah. She didn't ask him to. He was like, "Here, let me feed you." I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Yeah, and he kept, like, feeding her. I'm like so for any of y'all in my inbox trying to say you a better man, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you would not have helped me change my mom's diapers, which he did willingly, every single one. So, get out of my inbox, you don't compare. Anyways, card number 44, lantern, consciousness is light. And I think that's the thing. If you don't allow yourself to tap into your awareness of that consciousness, you don't have to develop that consciousness. You don't have to evolve it. It's forever, eternally, perpetually evolving and expanding. It's immortal. It's infinite. It's our awareness that's finite. Okay. If you allow yourself to tap into that consciousness, that awareness of it, you bring more light into your life, more understanding through a lens of compassion. You can better see with great clarity why you have to experience some of the things that you experience. Not everything in life is supposed to be enjoyable. My God, I get so sick and tired of people who like they try and prove that they are somehow more knowledgeable or something like that, right? by regurgitating the same bullshit, the same bullshit that is peddled by people who want you further emotionally, mentally, spiritually enslaved. Like, oh no, this and this and this about consciousness. Yeah, no, you're full of shit, bro. That's full of shit. No, no. I don't need to expand consciousness. It's already forever expanding. It's perpetual. It's infinite. It's your understanding, your acceptance, your ability to be aware of who you are in this moment. You don't have to be anywhere else. You don't have to do anything else. You don't only get valued after you've proven your worth. You're in the wrong environment if that's the logic you have, if that's how you're made to feel. Those are not your people. Those are not your people. They're not. They're not. When I was taking care of my mom, my one brother was getting so pissed off, right? The one that I don't value. Hey, sometimes we got toxic people in the family. That's a toxic one, okay? El Toxico over there was getting pissed off because I was like heavily encouraging my mother to be defiant. To be defiant. They would FaceTime her. And if they say something she doesn't like, I am behind her iPad. I'm like, show them the finger. Do both. And she's like, turn it around. Turn it around. Turn it. Turn it like this. Like that. It's got to face outwards. And then my my brother is like, you're teaching her the wrong things. And she's not a child. She already knew about this. She's not a child. Yeah, no. It doesn't matter who it is. It does not matter who it is. Your loyalty is first to yourself. It is first to you, not to the people who would rather see you suffer for their convenience, their preference. Uh-uh. You best believe I told her, turn it around, turn it around. And she's like, huh? Turn it around. Just turn it around. Don't flip yourself off. She's like, and then she like, bullshit. Say it louder. Say it like you mean it. Say it with your chest. I did teach her all of that. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed at all. I'm not ashamed at all. You know why? At some point in your life, before you take your last breath, you have to find that defiance to exist as you are with no apologies. You can do it earlier in life or you could do it right at the end. It's up to you. I tell you this though, the earlier you learn to exist with defiance towards people telling you to be something other than what you are, who you are, the more time you have in your life to truly enjoy living. Yep. The more time you have left in your life to truly enjoy living. I moved my mom to Colorado. She'd never lived outside of California since we immigrated. I moved her to Colorado where it snows. And her first doctor's appointment, there happened to be a freak snowstorm. She can't walk, right? She's in a reclined wheelchair. we use a chairlift. I managed to get the insurance to get us a chairlift, a hoist for home. And so we moved that with her and I hoisted her into her wheelchair. And it had a sleeping bag. And I zipped her up. I buckled her in and I zipped her up. She looked like a little caterpillar with just this much of her face sticking out. Just her eyes and her nose so she can see the winter wonderland. And usually she's very scared of snow. And I was like, I've lived in snow. I haven't died. And she goes, "I might die." "No, you won't." And I took her out that day. And we got back home. Yeah, she was exhausted. We took her out of her caterpillar bunting bag, her sleeping bag, put her back in her bed. She goes, "You're crazy." I was like, "Why am I crazy?" "You put me in a sleeping bag." I was like, "Yeah, but were you warm?" "Yeah, it was a good idea." Yeah, see? Live with zero fear. People looked at us like we were crazy, but boy, was she toasty. Crazy for what? Why are we crazy? She has minimal body fat. She's cold AF, okay? She's cold AF. Yeah, hell yeah. I stuck her in a sleeping bag in a wheelchair. I stuck her in a sleeping bag in a wheelchair, and she enjoyed it. And we did the same thing, and we took her to the casino. You have to live with zero regard as to how other people will see you, because you know what? Participating in that, where you have to what? Impress people who are not willing to be impressed? What's that gonna do for you? It's gonna add to that empty feeling, that sense of emptiness in your chest, in your belly, in your mind. When you sense an emptiness, that's probably an awareness of an energetic void that exists inside you. What does that mean? You require voids to exist within you in order for parasitic things to be able to occupy your auric field. That means you're setting yourself up for some not so savory things. What's more important to you? Impressing people who will never be impressed? Who don't appreciate your existence? Or allowing your space to be cleared to the degree that now people who you don't have to try to impress are standing in front of you, actually seeing you, looking you in your eyes, and actually truly seeing the essence of you. And they like it. They love it. They love you. You don't have to be anything else. Who you are right now, it's not even that it's enough, it's that it's celebrated. Now you're celebrated. Now you don't have to try, because you've allowed yourself to be witnessed as you are in your most authentic possible state. And the people who know how to appreciate that, who know the value of that, they see you and they celebrate you. You know how I got to this place in my life where I just love life. I just love life. And I can actually be myself. I don't have to try. I don't get depleted by work because I'm not trying. I'm just being myself. You know how I got here? I finally said, "You know what? Fuck it. I lose whatever I lose. I don't give a shit." I played by everyone's games. I played by their rules. I did what they demanded. Still wasn't enough. Well, how about this? Fuck you. Fuck this. Fuck it all. And no, it's not that I need to fight with everyone. It's that I have to stop fighting with myself just because you like to see the show. There's people who exist who are like that. They like to initiate fights within you just because they like to watch it. There are many of people in this world who are like that. Not everyone. Not everyone. But there are quite a few. So you know what I decided? No, I was not going to waste my time and energy fighting these pathetic as fuck people. These, as I lovingly refer, filthy bastards. These filthy bastards. That's what I call them. Filthy bastards. I'm not gonna waste my time. No. I'm not gonna go from fighting inside myself to now fighting you. No. I'm going to change the program. I'm going to become gentle with myself and celebrate myself and love myself, and you're not gonna like it, and I'm not gonna give a shit. I'm not gonna care. You don't like it? Go fucking somewhere else. Oh, you don't like that? I don't give a shit about that either. And here's the thing, I give a damn about a lot of things, just not the inconsequential things. Just not the things that make me feel like I have to go above and beyond to have your permission to exist. I don't need your permission. I was already born. Yeah. You want me to not exist as I am? You're gonna have to do some illegal stuff, aren't you? If you don't want me to exist like this, that's kind of like, I don't know, murder? Yeah, no, no. And I'm the bad person? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I'm not. Just because I'm choosing to exist as I am? Yeah, no. I'm sure I'm not. Just like you guys aren't. Thank you, Kaya Kaya. If you guys begin to understand the gravity of what you're being asked to do, and what are you being asked to do? Show up for yourself. You're being asked to show up for yourself. Stop attending the shows of everyone else. Come to your own show. Cultivate yourself. That empty feeling, fill it with love for self. Clearly, you're capable of loving other people. That's why you feel so broken at this point that you're seeking some type of guidance and some sort of camaraderie here in this space, right? You're here because the world hurts you, right? I'm here to tell you, first off, you're welcome here. You're my people. Second off, you're not broken. You just believe they're bullshit. And it's bullshit. Whether you believe it or not, it's bullshit. So now you're here. And I hope you're hearing. You never needed their permission. You're not broken. And even if you have wounds, you wear those scars so beautifully. No, I don't think it's ugly. I think it's evidence of your badassery, evidence of times your life tried to break you by the hands of someone else. And you said, fuck you, bitch. And you just kept going. Thank you, Kaya Kaya. Yeah, you kept going. I think scars are beautiful. I have many scars. Mhm. You know why I'm the person that I am? You know why I'm loving and I wanna support people and, empower them and make them feel very much a part of this? It's not to build an audience because 'cause I'm not a social person like that. I don't want any notoriety. I don't want any celebritydom. No, just because I see myself in you. And all the things that I needed people to say to me as I was at the height of my belief of my brokenness, my woundedness, my lack of worth, those are the things I needed someone to say to me, to remind me, honey, this is just a part of your journey where you're being taught the polar opposite of what you are, so you could understand with full gravity what you actually are. That's all it was. But look, here's the thing, I don't need sympathy because had I had someone else tell me, I wouldn't have believed them. I was incapable of believing them. So I'm gonna share something about some of my logic. What's up, baby boo?
Oh, I thought you still were getting ready to go live.
No, I'm already live. Do you need something?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm done with work. I think I'm done.
Can you hold off until I'm done? Can you clock me in at like 30 minutes? I love you. So here's the thing, okay? Back then, even until very recently, when people compliment me, I don't receive it as a compliment. I never learned how to receive compliments. Instead, I was doing something that I'm actually embarrassed about. I was silently thinking to myself, "Oh my god, I bet you say that to everyone. Ew, why are you saying this? Emmy, you're amazing. Ew. Why would you say that? What's your intention? Who sent you? What is it you want from me? Oh my god, you feel sorry for me, don't you? Oh my god, you see me as insecure, huh? Oh shit, you noticed." That was my logic. Yeah. I still don't really know how to take compliments. I don't know that I need them. I don't know that I need them. Maybe some days I do, but most of the time I don't. Why? Because I'm so focused on learning to appreciate myself, to celebrate me as I am without external validation. And it's not to say that I'll never have a day where I won't feel so empty that I need external validation. It is to say that I don't exist. I don't think I've ever existed in a way where that's all I need all day long is external validation. What for? What for? We're all so flawed and limited in our logic because we have human brains we run everything through first. Human brain was hybridized with reptilian code. By virtue of that hybridization program, we're primarily focused on surviving. I'm not here to survive. I'm here to thrive in such a way that it becomes recognizable the world over. Again, not for celebritydom, but because I think the world is ready to see that, hey, you know what? Little old me, little docile, stereotypical docile Asian me. First, I'm not docile. I'm not. Uh, yeah. No, I'm thriving. Not because someone gave me permission to, but because I chose to. And I didn't allow anyone or anything to stop me from that. Not a single person, not even myself. See, the only person that can actually stop you from achieving the things you want to achieve is you. Are you going to let yourself get away with that? I've learned to speak to myself in a much more gentler manner. Like, I don't yell at myself anymore. It's more like, "Girl, what are you doing? Oh my god, girl, sit down and take a nap." I know you didn't just say that. "Girl." Yeah. So now that's how I talk to myself. But there's some days where, um, I try and convince myself that I'm not allowed to thrive. Those are the days where I save specific type of conversation that I have with myself. "Bitch, shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down." That's what I say to myself. "Shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down. What the actual fuck's going on?" Yeah. And then, of course, I mean, hearing myself talk to myself like that, it cracks me up because I'm like, what the hell? And that breaks up that hyperfixation on me fighting myself. It's okay to not take yourself seriously. It's okay to be able to laugh at yourself and your problems. That's okay. It's okay. I don't actually think I'm a bitch. I don't actually think I'm crazy. I think I needed a distraction from, or not even a distraction, a redirection. One of the things that people saw me do with my children as they were like really, really small, I almost never said no. I almost never said no. And people would watch me often. I don't know why. It's like a mom and child, like, what is so profound about this? But they would watch me often, and so there'd be times where, my child, one of my kids, they're less than a year old, right? And I'm teaching them about gentleness. So they're taking their toys, they're smashing it like this, right? And instead of saying, "No, don't do that," before they could smash it, I hold their hands and I'm like, "Oh, look, you go like this. See the wheels, they roll." Redirection. I'm not telling them the way they're playing is wrong. I'm not invalidating what they're experiencing in their decisions. I'm showing them that there are other options you can consider. For the most part, all of my children's toys, until we left California, that is, they still pretty much look brand new because they didn't break their toys like that. They didn't break their toys. And people were always like, oh my God, she's such a hippie parent. I remember one time all of the kids, we were at my cousin's house and, she had all her friends over, her in-laws and everything. There were a ton of kids there, double digits, double digits of toddlers. And, they were in the front living room, the toddlers, and next thing you know, one of the younger ones starts crying. And, most of the adults were in the other room. So I'm the first one to go into the front room where the children were playing. And I'm like, okay, guys, what happened? Can someone tell me what happened? Why are you crying? What happened? And then all the other adults obviously came in after me and they're like, what the F? And I was like, wait, what happened? Are you okay? Did you get upset? Did you get hurt? Tell us what happened. And all the other adults were like, because they wanted to come in and be like, what the fuck happened? Who's crying? Who do we need to speak? Like, what was that for? What was that going to do? Make them shut down. Just make them shut down. The kid that was crying because they didn't get their way. They wanted the toy. And you know how I knew? Because my kids were there. One of my other toddlers was like, well, you don't want to share. And she started screaming. I said, okay, well, what's the better way to do it? Take turns. And so my toddler told the screaming child, if you let them know that you want to have the turn next when they're done, you can have it next. And then all the adults were like, yeah, redirect, encourage communication. That's what you need to do with yourself at this point. Instead of being the child that just has that internal screaming fit because she wasn't encouraged to communicate. And no, I don't feel like she was being a brat. I distinctly remember that's what their parents said, "Oh, she's just being a brat, just ignore her." No. She's not being a brat. She's trying to find a way to communicate her need. Causation and effect. When you don't teach them the other options exist in regards to communicating their needs, they will think that they only have that one option. If you continuously get your way by having a tantrum, guess what? That's your form of communication now. That's your form of communication now. I even remind my older kids this. The other day, my husband cooked, and my kids have a lot of gastrointestinal things that we still work through. And one of my kids needs like a large quantity of vegetables in relation to the protein, the meat protein that they have. And he was eating. I was like, how come you don't have enough veggies? And he got upset. He didn't yell or anything. He goes, well, Daddy didn't make any. I said, well, did you communicate this? I said, hey, if you're old enough to speak to me, you're old enough to let your dad know, like, hey, Daddy, I need more veggies. This is not the proper ratio for me. And he got very quiet. And I'm like, I'm not mad. It's just, listen, Daddy doesn't eat like that. You can't expect him to know what you need just because he's your dad. He tries very, very hard. But you're gonna have to tell him, like, I need more veggies, I need this, I need less that. You know? You can't be accommodated if no one knows what you need. How many of us learn to communicate in that way? How many of us learn to communicate and that the communication would be heard and considered? Like, you guys just heard one of my kids come to the room. He knocked. And I don't know if you could hear him, but he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were still just preparing to live stream. I was going to ask you to help me with some of my homework." Good. You're making your needs known. You don't have to sit there frustrated because you don't understand the work. That applies to your spiritual work as well. And no, people don't always need to drop everything they're doing right when you ask just because you have a need. He understands that. Okay. How much time do you need? I'm like, clock me in at 30 minutes. He's going to come back in 30 minutes and be like, at which point I'm going to have to be like, no, that's not disrespectful. I told him 30 minutes. He can come back in 30 minutes. If I'm still talking and be like, okay, give me a second. Hey guys, I got to go now. He might be my kid, but he's also my equal. When you can cultivate an environment where everyone's needs and communication is valued, is heard, is considered. My kids rarely fight. It's rare. It's rare. And when one of them is kind of, maybe having a rough day, maybe in a bad mood, maybe they're frustrated or whatever. The other day, my youngest was on the couch crying. I'm like, what happened? Why is he crying? One of the other ones, it's okay, mom. He's just frustrated about his video game. I already told him, what does mommy say? Take a moment. If you're already frustrated, take a moment and then you can go back at it and beat the game. But right now, just take a moment. So he's just taking a moment, mom. Just let him cry. We already asked him if he was fine. He's just frustrated. And I was just like, no, something else is wrong. And so I went up to my crying kid and I was like, hey, are you frustrated with someone? Or is it just your game? And so he told me, it's my game. I was so close to winning and he killed me. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. That's the thing. We pretty much never got that as kids. You're not a kid anymore. You can't keep blaming your childhood. If you're aware you did not get that in your childhood, that means you're cognitive enough to know what you need now. That means now, as an adult, you are responsible for providing for yourself the type of assistance, support, and environment that you need in order to cultivate that. Doesn't mean you're helpless or hopeless or any of that. I didn't get any of this as a child. None. I'll give you something to cry about. I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what I mean, granted, I wasn't spanked. But yeah, no, that's the kind of communication. So no, I wasn't taught this. I realized this because of the lack that I experienced as a child. Am I saying my childhood was horrible? It was the worst? No, I'm saying I had a real childhood. And the reality of that childhood led to the reality of my recognition of what I need as an adult. And my recognition of what I need as an adult is what cultivated, fostered, developed my understanding of how to parent my children. You don't need to have children in your life to learn how to parent your inner child. You don't. You could learn to do this for yourself. Card number 36, confusion. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through the uncertainty. See? Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through the uncertainty. It's almost like we want to exist in a way that's completely certain. Why? Why? You want to be able to dictate your life. What if you're wrong? It's like when you get tattoos as a teen, you're like so convinced while you're a teen, like, no, I want it on my body permanently because it's so cool. Yo. I'm just saying, I got a tattoo when I was 18. Thank God it's hidden, you know? Thank God it's hidden. We change and we grow and we evolve as individuals, our preferences, um, everything. We really have no idea who we are until after we've become something else. That's the reality of it. You don't know what you like or don't like until your taste changes. You just don't. I don't know how to get my Pisces to communicate. He doesn't feel it will be understood or change will take place, only open with me. Ooh, Queen of Hearts. I don't know how to get my Pisces to communicate. He doesn't feel it will be understood or change will take place. He's only open with me. Is this your child? If it's your child, take it as evidence that you are a good parent. You need to help your child understand that, yes, there's a possibility that many people will not understand them. There's a possibility that they will not be willing to change even after hearing the communication, but that they are powerful enough to be able to do it without that. They don't have to have that. That it's okay for them to think and feel differently than other people, to see things differently than other people, to expect differently from other people, and that those other people might very much disappoint them. Pisceans need people in their life to help them understand feeling something does not mean what you feel is what it is. Feeling and being are two different things. I personally feel these live streams are me just rambling on, talking nonsensical. I don't see or feel the value in it. What is the reality of it? You guys see some value in it. It affects you in some way and starts some sort of internal process that leads to your self empowerment. Feeling and the reality of it are often two different things for a Piscean. It's often two different things. And we really have to encourage other Pisceans to begin to understand this. What you feel is often soul based or rooted in your insecurities. If you haven't done enough or are aware enough, it's probably rooted in insecurities. So, what has to happen? We don't encourage the person to have this logic that their environment has to change to accommodate their insecurity. No, we have to teach them this is rooted in an insecurity. Why do we feel this way? Okay, what happened before? Was it because I didn't hear you while I was washing dishes? Like this, there's times where my kids will be like, and I'm like, what's wrong? Well, you ignored me. When did I ignore you? Well, I was telling you something when you were washing the dishes. Okay, mofo. Did I hear you? Did I like, no, I'm washing dishes. No, you kept washing dishes. Okay, so that should tell you I didn't even hear you. You know I'm lost in thought all day, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, so if it was important, why didn't you get my attention and make sure I'm looking you in the eyes? But you were washing dishes. Okay, exactly. Exactly. Now I'm not washing dishes. What do you want to tell me? See, you have to look at birth order, Queen of Hearts. It's your youngest son. You have to look at the birth order. There is something that goes on with the birth order that causes like specific types of archetypes, like perceptions, behavioral type stuff. Excuse me. It's not always negative, but as a parent, if you begin to become aware of that type of subject matter, you can begin to see how, like, oh, okay, it's not that my kid is having a hard time. This is just an organic progression of their development because of birth order. We're not going to excuse it away as just birth order, but we can begin to understand. You know what I mean? Like I'm the youngest and I felt the exact same way, that I won't be understood, that there will never be change, and that no one's going to listen to me. That I can't tell people things. I can't tell people this or that. Uh, you know, and I think a lot of people who are the youngest, they feel that way too. I think that has to do with birth order. But of course, we don't want to just make our children into stereotypes. We don't want to just dismiss it because we read a book. discussing certain concepts. Our child is not a concept. This is a living, breathing, sentient being. So we do have to factor that in, but custom tailor the approach to our child, you know? And there's times where sometimes it's appropriate to be like, I know it's a goal. It'd be nice if everyone understood and everyone listened, but I'm realizing how lucky we are that we have each other, because I'm seeing there's a lot of people who don't even have that. So, maybe not everyone's going to understand because maybe not everyone sees the way we do. But I see the way you do. I get it. I totally get it, you know? Um, ooh, Queen of Hearts can't stay shut down forever. Dealing with one serious trauma can't stay shut down forever. But it's not even up to the parent to decide how long they need to be in that shutdown space. And I found with Pisceans, especially, the more empathic the Piscean, the more likely they've experienced more profound, life altering, perception distorting trauma. The longer they'll need to be shut down. And the more you try and point out that they're shut down and they need to not shut down, that's the more they're not going to rebound. That's the more they're going to go deeper into their darkness, you know? Um, so you got to be careful with that, especially with a Piscean, because you don't even have to say it. They can feel it and they know. They can feel you silently judging them. That's how it's going to be seen or felt. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that's how we take it. Like, oh, see, you act like you understand, but I can feel it. You don't. You don't get it. You didn't go through it. And, sometimes we just got to be like, listen, I didn't need to go through it. I can feel your pain. Now, I don't know how to get through this, but I need you to know I'm right here with you. You're not alone in it. I don't know all the answers for parenting. I just know the most important things, no matter what. My only goal is for my kids to know no matter what happens, I got you. Whether I agree or not, I got you. I don't give a shit who I have to go to war with. I fucking got you. Now, when we get home, I might consider spanking your ass for the shit that you started. We got to talk about it first. I want to know what the hell happened and why you chose what you chose so I can understand. But first and foremost, I got you. you know, I think for the most part, parents, especially empathic parents, we try and go above and beyond to try and be the best possible parent. And we take too much responsibility for things that we can't control. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm saying, it's just that's what we do and it doesn't help, because the reality is still this: they chose you to be their parent before they were even born, because you and your limited perceptions would eventually lead to them experiencing the things they experience. Is it your fault? No. They chose you because of that potentiality, because they needed that. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that, but I understand it. I accept it. There's things where I feel like, man, if I was just a better parent, you know? This is the crazy part. Days where I'm like just really deep in introspection, thinking things like that, like, man, I wish I was just a better parent. Like, I got to try harder. And I don't say anything out loud. And suddenly one of my kids will just be like, "You're an awesome mom. You're like the greatest mom I know." And I'm like, "Are you scanning me?" Like thinking to myself, "Are you scanning me? Are you reading my thoughts?" They don't even have they're not even facing me. They have their back to me. They're doing something else. And they just randomly say that. And I'm just like, thank you. I needed that. I need that little reminder. See, it's the good parents that always wonder if they're not doing enough. Keep wondering. That's what makes you a good parent. That's what ensures that you go above and beyond to be the best parent possible for your child. But this ideology of parental perfection it's bullshit. It's a lie. It's a lie. They teach this to our kids. So that way, our kids will learn to be dismissive and disrespectful of their parent. No, fuck that shit. I'm a real parent. Sometimes I make bad decisions. Call me out on it. Let's grow together. That's a relationship I have with my kids. Call me out on it. I mean, don't be disrespectful. Call me out on it though. And my kids have totally, like, if I, in the rare instances where I get really upset with one of them and I've raised my voice, one of them will be like, that was mean. You didn't have to say it like that. Like, you're being really intense right now. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? You're right. Just give me a minute. I need to get back in control of myself. You're right. And that wasn't necessary. They'll totally call me out on it. They will, but they're not disrespectful at all. They're just like, awareness check, awareness check. I'm not a perfect parent. They're not perfect children. I'm a real parent. They are real children. Our expectations of each other are real. There's times where it's like they ask me to do this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and I have to do all these other sessions and this and that, and I'll get frustrated and I'll be like, I can't do that right now. I'm rushing to get to this other part. And they'll get disappointed and I'll be like, I don't know if your expectation of me is realistic right now. Is this necessary? Is it really that urgent? Like, no. Okay, so please understand what I need to do right now. You are just as important, but I have a timeline that I have to work with. Okay. When you're done, can you consider it? Yes, of course. Of course. Communication, mutual respect, allowing yourself to leave behind the programs that you were taught, the programs that lead to you feeling very empty, very unsupported, very unloved, unrecognized, unheard. That's why society is structured the way it is. My family is not something that's superior. We are a real family. Like, I'm not sharing this to make you guys feel like I got my parenting. No, we are a real family. We are making conscious decisions, though. Conscious decisions. Because we make conscious decisions, our kids have learned to make conscious decisions. They're still learning, just as I'm still learning. They're still learning. It's okay for you to not have everything figured out. It's okay for you to only figure things out after you've gone through the trauma, because guess what? That's what those events are for, to help you figure things out. When did we become a race of people who are so afraid of the process of growth that we need to be coddled all the time? And I'm all for coddling. Don't get me wrong. I am all for coddling. Uh, no one has to cater to you, though. Your environment doesn't have to consider anything. It really doesn't. It doesn't. There's been times where one of my kids will get really frustrated because they communicated their need and their, maybe their older sibling didn't listen, didn't take into consideration that they said they're next on the game or whatever it is. And they're pissed off. And I'm like, listen, hey, what goes on in our family is not very common in the world. Do I like that your brother took your turn? No. But you're going to have to get back in control of yourself, because when you exit these doors, that's kind of how the world functions. And you can't be losing your shit just because you didn't get your way since you communicated it. People don't have to give you your way just because you communicated it. Now, it's nice that you did. That shows that you're growing. That shows your level of maturity. But not everyone has to cater to you. Okay, mom. Okay, I know you didn't like what I had to say, but that's the reality of it. Go talk to your brother and tell him, listen, you better finish up your turn because you took my turn. Hey, just because people don't have to cater to you doesn't mean you have to accept that either. You have to find this beautiful middle ground where you know what's worth raising your voice for and making your needs better known, and what's just a waste of time. If it's just a waste of time, why bother? Card number 4, strength of vulnerability. True power lies at the root of a perceived weakness. Boom, right there. That perception of weakness that you have, that's a part of you that's afraid to tap into the greatness that's just behind that fear. Yeah. That's a part of you that's afraid to be recognized for the powerhouse that you are. Why do you think you feel so empty? Because you keep depleting yourself intentionally without even realizing it. You feel so empty because you're depleted. Why are you depleting yourself? Because you know the reservoir of power that exists within you. Here he comes, dang. Yes.
30 minutes.
Okay, baby. I love you.
You did me like that.
Can you please close the door?
Love you, Mommy.
Love you too. He goes, 30 minutes. You said 30 minutes. I said, okay, baby. And he goes, oh, you did me like that. Like I said, I told you guys he was going to come here after 30 minutes. What? Oh, you liked my live stream twice? I got to go. It's homeschool time before I do sessions. So I'm sorry I didn't get to all the cards. I should have managed my time better. Hey, you got to be a person of your word. You got to be a person of your word. So that's what I'm going to be. It's time for homeschool. All right, guys, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. If you're listening to this audio recording as a podcast, please make sure to interact with the tract. Download it, save it. I don't know how podcasts work, but please interact with it, like it, and subscribe to wherever platform you're listening to me. You guys, I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tuesdays, I'm live at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with the Soul Sanctuary podcast. If you have not already joined my Soul Sanctuary membership, please do. Later on today, I'll be doing an exclusive live stream with Emmy Evolving Content. There's a few things that we need to talk about. I'm doing that in the membership. It's an exclusive content type thing. So I'm not going to be doing it here on YouTube. Please join me. I'm no longer on Patreon. If you want to join the membership, simply go to thesoulsanctuary.love, thesoulsanctuary.love, and you can sign up there. Aside from that, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I love you guys. I'll be live this evening to do expedites and readings. I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.